And I had to change my story a bit for this one because the changes came in after 6 this evening, so I had to do a quick rewrite. So this is the Jussie Smollette trial. A jury in Chicago found him guilty today of falsely reporting the police that he had been the victim of a racist and homophobic assault in 2019, an attack that investigators presented as a hoax directed by the actor itself. So after deliberating for more than 9 hours, a 12-person jury indicated that it had chosen to believe the accounts of two brothers who testified that Mr. Smollette had asked them to mildly injure him as part of a publicity stunt. I did not need an investigation. I did not need a trial. I did not need anything for me to know that. Why did I lie? Me never need none of all of this. All of that money spending, all of the investigation, me never need a trial to tell me that. Me didn't know that. Me didn't know that. But I'm going to recap some of what came up in the trial this past week. And the more you try to be smart in committing a crime, is the more you show how stupid you are in committing said crime. So I'm just going to recap what was said today, this week in court, and go from there. So on Tuesday, he was on the stand and in his defense, and he denied accusations that he planned the assault with the two African brothers, Abimbola Osundaro and Olabinjo Osundaro. Okay. You know, 2 days before the assault, he and Abimbola had simply been smoking oh Lord, like it's so Olabinjo stated that 2 days before the assault, he and Abimbola, so the two brothers, were smoking marijuana while Mrs. Smollette drive them around Chicago before a workout session. So they're both personal trainers, so they you know, were driving around and all of that kind of stuff, because he had hired Abimbola to help him get ripped for a music video that he was supposed to be appearing in. Apparently also prosecutors were asking him why he had to continue to update Abimbola about his flight coming back to Chicago, about the several delays that he had, you know, in the late night hours of January 29th. And he stated that he was updating them because he was supposed to also meet up with them to train. Okay. The brothers testified that he was updated, keeping them apprised of the delay so they could move back the time of their prearranged attack on him, which occurred at about 2 a.m. He says that, you know, it's just because of a workout plan. He kept notifying them so that whatever. But however, he did not update them. There were no follow-up texts or email canceling the workout, which was scheduled for the next morning after he was attacked. Okay. So again, boyfriend never think out all the logistics of what he needed to do pre and post attack. Didn't think about it at all. Not at all. So the brothers describe how Smollette outlined in detail the planned attack after expressing disappointment that the producers of the television show Empire had not responded more seriously to a death threat he had received in the mail. However, an employee of the show stated that that was a lie and reported that the show had actually offered to get security to drive Smollette back and forth to his home from the studio, and he had refused. Prosecutors have contended that the brothers only beat Mr. Smollette up enough to bruise but not seriously injure him, and placed a rope around his neck fashioned like a noose to make it seem like he had been the victim of a hate crime. Mr. Smollette on Tuesday swung back on that narrative, suggesting that his injuries had indeed been serious enough that to this day he has a scar under his right eye that won't go away. Some bio oil will work on that one. Eh? Bio oil, yeah, will work. He also took them on a dry run, driving them around the intersection, around the apartment building, took them on a dry run of the route and all of that kind of stuff to point out where the attack should occur and all of that stuff. He says, you know, he met up with one brother and then he brought up the other brother and all, like, his stuff keeps changing. He keeps changing. 1 minute he say one brother creep him out. The next minute he has the two of them in a car with him and all of that stuff. You know, it's like he couldn't come up with a good reason as to why him and the brothers were driving around the pattern. He claimed it was 3 years ago. He doesn't remember why they were driving around the, you know, whatever. When pointed out that there was surveillance footage, pointed out that, you know, it shows that his car kept circling the intersection where the attack occurred. Him couldn't remember why that, like, there were so many holes in his stories. So many holes in his stories. It was just crazy. That's why it didn't take long for the jury to return with a conviction. It only took them 9 hours. And if the judge had allowed them to stay last night and finish deliberating, they would have come to a conclusion last night. But the judge sent them home early and they came back today and, you know, didn't take long at all. Did not take long at all. But I don't understand, like, how you have everything going for you. You have looks, you have money, you have a good family, you're in a nice show up on TV, your coins are coming in, and you wanted more attention? But I understand that. Somebody make it make sense, please. Colleen says, maybe don't try the case from the morning after. The scar must stay there too bad. Colleen says, but he not have no brain because he never really plot out all this thing for work. He did need me for work with him on it. He never plot it out properly. Did not plot it out properly at all. But he can use like a bio oil pan the scar. If he never did use that, but it'll be a reminder of his stupidity. So they're stating that there's a possibility of him getting up to 3 years in prison, but because it's his first offense, he may only get probation. But I'm thinking that the judge may want to be harsh in this case because of all the things that happened back then, all the rhetoric, all the back and forth, all the negative publicity and all of that stuff. The judge might want to just say, yo, me give you 1 year because of all of why you put everybody else through, all the money that was spent for the investigations and all of that and all of them something. So the judge might just say, no, take a 1 year. Take a 1 year or 1 year per charge or something. But I feel that when somebody do something like this, they need to go to jail. They need to go to jail. They don't just need to get, you know, a probation sentence. You need to go to jail. The resources you tied up that could have been used for something else, the monies that was spent to investigate, to bring it to trial, you need to go to jail. I don't care what color you are, you need to go to jail. Jail, jail. You need to go to jail. But that's my little rant on that, because from it happened and there's no surveillance camera to say, hey, nothing. Me never believe that. But it is what it is. And if you go to jail. Stephen Perry says 3 years per charge, 5 charges. So that would be what, 15 years? Hey, Stephen, thanks for checking in. 15 years. Me could agree with you upon that. Me could agree with you upon that. Could I agree with you? Colleen said, let this be his first and last. The show turned him fool, and she agrees. It'll definitely be his last, because I don't think he's going to be stupid enough to go out and do that again. I don't think anybody would believe him if he did that again. But I want him to go to jail. I want him to go to jail. I want him to spend time in jail. I don't want him to get probation. Not at all. I would like him to go to jail. And that's my little rant on this little person over in Chicago. So next week there will be no more updates on his trial because it's now over.